Grand Rising Synchronized Souls, and welcome to your February forecasts. Today I'm going to be pulling from a tarot deck. The deck that I chose was the Modern Witch deck, simply so that we can see what information, what guidance our guides wanted to give us before we continue the month of February. We start off this 4-card spread with Judgment. I think it's a very interesting card, but also fitting card to begin our 4-card spread for February, simply because there is a lot of judgment happening right now. Whether that is you judging yourself for what you didn't finish in January, what you felt like you should have finished in January, whether it's you judging your 2020 year, whether it's you judging the actions that you are not taking or the actions that you are taking, there seems to be, again, just a lot of self-critical behavior right now in terms of you being very self-critical of yourself, but also very critical of other people. So we're starting off our February card spread with a major arcana card to remind you to bring that back into balance, right? Beautiful thing about seeing the Judgment card is that we are one card before we get to the world, one card before we get to that graduation, to that upgrade, to that new cycle. So obviously we're really, really close to the end of that cycle right now. They're just saying, how can you learn from the lessons that have transpired and learn gracefully, compassionately, with patience, with understanding, instead of you being critical? Absolutely love it, because the card that then comes next is the 8 of Pentacles, and this came up in reverse. 8 of Pentacles in reverse is really speaking about that lack of vision. If we're talking about you being maybe very self-critical right now, really acknowledging that that self-critical behavior is pouring into that long-term vision. If you are criticizing the way that you have done things, or if you're criticizing the way that you are doing things, you're not giving yourself a really good motivation to continue to strive forward. So really just acknowledging that that judgment is actually hindering that long-term vision. It's hindering that long-term goal. It's hindering that long-term manifestation that you're trying to bring into fruition. So they're really starting by saying, hey, how can we take the time to allow ourselves to think long-term, right? To not get caught up in the impatience that is currently happening. The sense of impatience is heightened with the Knight of Wands that then comes next, right? Knight of Wands in reverse, we're speaking about you being reckless, right? We're speaking about you being arrogant. We're speaking about you being a little bit of a bully, right? We're speaking about you, yes, pursuing your manifestations, and yes, you pursuing your intentions, but maybe you're not doing that with thought. Maybe you're not doing that with intention. Maybe you're not doing that with the right energy. So again, just acknowledging the ways that that motion that you want is probably not producing the results that you want, simply because the thought behind it, right? The process behind it is not in line. Last card for this 4-card spread for February, the card that comes up was the Queen of Wands, and this card came up upright. I think it's beautiful that we move from the Knight of Wands reverse into the Queen of Wands. So although there is some reckless action and some reckless feeling, the Queen of Wands coming up at the end is really giving me the feeling that that is something that we're going to overcome. Right? By the end of the month, we're going to be feeling aligned with our creativity. We're going to be feeling aligned with our mind, with our body, with our soul, aligned with the way that we're able to show up. And also just acknowledging that the Queen of Wands also brings up this feeling of socializing. So if you've been avoiding people the last couple of months, if you've been avoiding people throughout 2022 as you've been diving in and making some new adjustments to your life, this is really the card to sit down and say that things are going to be shifting, right? We're going to allow ourselves to feel that creativity and to use that creativity not only for us, but also for others. 2 cards that came up in addition to what it is that I pulled, actually, was the Page of Cups and the 7 of Swords. I think it's really important to acknowledge that both of these cards came up. The Page of Cups is really speaking about that new love, new relationship, new opportunity that is coming. And that 7 of Swords is kind of acting as a warning that although there is this new thing that is coming, how can you allow yourself to remind yourself that that may come with a sense of betrayal, that may come with a sense of maybe jealousy or envy. I'm not quite sure, but it feels like whatever new person is going to be introduced is not the first person that you should be jumping after, simply because there is more to that picture than you can currently see. I'm going to continue to pull some cards just from the top of the deck to see what comes up. We have the Nine of Cups, right? Talking about that sense of contentment, right? That sense of contentment is coming, right? There's no reason for you to settle. There's no reason for you to do things that you know are not in alignment with you, or for you to settle and actually commit to things that you know are not in alignment for you, right? There's this feeling that contentment and satisfaction and you being emotionally fulfilled is coming. Do not settle, right? Do not settle. Right? That 10 of Wands is talking about the fact that there's all of this responsibility, right? Part of that vision that we were speaking about earlier. Are there responsibilities, right? Are there obligations that you should be delegating, or are you taking everything on yourself? Are you not asking for help? Maybe that's part of the judgment that we're coming to, that we've been doing everything on our own and we're still not getting what it is that we thought we were going to be getting when things came to fruition, right? There is this feeling to really acknowledge that as of right now, right, there could be more if we allowed ourselves to complete the cycle, if we allowed ourselves to walk away from these things that aren't for us. Two of Pentacles, talking about juggling of responsibilities, right? Talking about 10 of Wands, responsibilities, right? Two of Pentacles, are you still juggling your resources, your time, your energy, your money? And are you doing so effectively? Because if not, this is the month to say, let us readjust. Back to that Judgment card. How can you, again, judge with compassion, right? Judge yourself with compassion so that you can create some new habits, sustainable habits that are actually going to carry you into that new place that you are working towards, into that new cycle that you are begging to be in, right? 8 of Swords, we're talking about those limitations that you're placing on yourself. You have more than enough in terms of resources and energy, but maybe you are not juggling them properly. Maybe you are not investing them properly. Because of that, there's all of these self-limiting beliefs, right? Self-sabotaging ways. These are things that you can walk away from. This month specifically, I'm working at actually attracting and accepting clarity calls so that I can work with souls in our Soulpreneur program. I'm going to be working with 18 souls this year. Last year I worked with 10. So bringing up the number a little bit more for a bit of a challenge for myself. And we're working on these self-sabotaging ways, right? In regards to your business, in regards to yourself, so that you can continue to scale. If that's something that you're interested in, please do book a clarity call. I really do want to help you unravel, right, these self-sabotaging ways and these limiting beliefs. I promise you that danger is not as close as you think that it is. It really is not. Right? 7 of Wands, 7 of Cups, my apologies, is coming up in reverse, right? Because of everything that is really occurring, there's all of these options, and these options are causing you to, again, go into that place of feeling like it's too much. It's funny how all of these cards are really starting to tell the same story. Right? Acknowledging the fact that we're looking for that long-term success, but because our energy, our thoughts are not in alignment in the present, it's not coinciding, right? Because of that, there's this feeling of, hey, maybe I should be looking for something outside of me. Maybe I should be putting more time and energy into this. Maybe I need to be taking on more. And they start by saying no, right? That's not what it is. Juggle the resources that you already have. Use the things that you already have at your disposal in a different perspective, in a different manner. How can you change the way that you use the tools that you already have access to? Right? They bring up to say, do not settle, right? Do not settle or attach yourself for things that do not serve you, for things that are not in alignment with you, and allow yourself to remind yourself that just because we are at this ending does not mean that things are completely complete right now, right? Y'all are expecting things to come through quickly, and they're saying not yet. Not yet, because we're still ending things. Really just reminding us we are in February. We are in the last month, right? The last astrological season before spring equinox, before Aries season, before all of that very, very forward energy. So yes, right? The planets are direct. Use the fact that the planets are direct for you to actually take some forward action on the things that you know are in alignment with you. But if you're calling in some new things, let's wait. Right? Wait for that spring equinox. Right now is a really good time for you to revisit some of those old ways of being, for you to ask yourself, is that still in alignment? Do I want to bring these things with me into this new cycle, into this new astrological year? Or am I willing to settle? right? Am I willing to stay in my ego, in my jealousy, in my envy, or am I going to let it go? Because you are given an opportunity right now to let it go. I also can't help but notice all of the cards in the spreads, right? Outside of the 2, we're talking about 8s, we're talking about 9s, we're talking about 10s. We are close to the end of that cycle. We are close to the end of the cycle, synchronizing souls. Do not settle. Do not settle. I would, of course, love to know your thoughts on this full February forecast. There we go. In the comments below. Please do subscribe so that you can receive some more information and some more guidance from me throughout this month, throughout this year. And of course, I'm going to say take what resonates and leave the rest. Thanks, friends.